Well, it's June 14th. Sorry, the video clarity's a little blurry. I woke up and realized that my screen protector's cracked up where my front-facing camera is. I'm a little bit sick, but the Lord has been gracious to my body. I've just been praying and asking Him to show me stuff. I'm always open to hearing from the Lord, and you should be too. Went back through and watched the movie Thin Thread, or actually A Good American with Bill Binney, about the Thin Thread program. Every human should watch that that's an American citizen. What it does is it helps to frame out why Edward Snowden did what he did. Edward Snowden was not a bad man. What I mean by that is that he knew how the whistleblowing process had been corrupted and poisoned and abused because of what they did with Bill Binney and the Thin Thread program before his time came. God is watching. What the Lord's showing me is, hey, I care about this stuff. The integrity of America means something a lot to me. That means a lot to God. And He's watching, and He cares how we pass our laws. Any American, any human, any Christian, any non-Christian, everybody needs to realize that God is hypercritically aware of stuff. He looks at the hearts of men. He looks at the policies we enact. He looks at the good and the bad, the corruption, the reason why we do what we do. America needs to walk back a couple things. We have lost our path. Something that's going to be completely strange and will probably invalidate me with many people is that I don't see Snowden as a bad guy. I don't see Bill Binney as a bad guy. I see General Hayden as a piece of shit. I see Maureen Baginski as a piece of shit. I see the other guys that were involved in the destruction of Thin Thread and the moving forward and the Trailblazers, all pieces of shit. That's evil. The fingerprint of that corruption is expressed through their actions, and it started in their hearts and became their policy to pursue dollars for the NSA more than truth for the people. The great saying I once heard from my friend Jason Aldous is that the pursuit of the passion has outweighed the principle. And he said he heard it from someone else too. Government is not there to serve itself. Government is there to serve the people. And when government starts serving itself, it's gone wrong. Something else I think that should be looked at is how we handle the sacred things, like marriage and gender and religion. By no means am I condoning murder or treachery, but we have been holding Larry Miliete without any proof of a crime for years and years and years. Maya could show up any day now. She could have, bounced with her lover to South America or Las Vegas or something. And I'm not saying we should reward murder, but punishing adultery isn't wrong. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if she was murdered by Larry or not. If she was, then he should own it and take his whippings for doing it. But I would always encourage people to be a little more lenient when adultery is involved. That's my opinion. That's not something I heard from the Lord. But the reason I share with you is because we live in a time where we've really lost our way of what's important. What are the important issues to defend? And how do we defend them? And when it comes to Thin Thread and Bill Binney and Edward Snowden, these were people who wanted to actually protect the rights of Americans, to keep their data encrypted, to not abuse the FISA court. and to not see massive systems put in a scale that actively abuse our privacy and our rights. When they realized there was no proper way to protest, Bill Binney and his group just quit. Go look it up. They left NSA October 31st, 2001. Because they knew they couldn't win this fight. Because it was too much of a bureaucratic bullshit avalanche set against them. They knew that General Michael Hayden and I think it was William Black, and there's several people involved, that were going to silence them and snuff them out, told them to not talk about Thin Thread, don't allow that report to show what a failure Trailblazer had been, and how Thin Thread would have rendered timely, actionable data in a time to actually act on it in a preventative way. So it's a very evil world we live in. And there really is principalities and powers. And they are above us. But they're actually not above us. They're in our hearts. And us, the people, get put in high places and low places. And when people have been placed in a high place, allow the corruption in their heart to lead them, it's bad for everybody. And one thing that I've always been championing to everybody is to clean up yourself, to self-audit. I think all of my friends, all of my ex-girlfriends, including Peachy, including Kathy, they've all heard John Colby say the term self-audit probably 600 or 700 times. I've talked about self-auditing a lot. If you don't purge yourself of your own evils, and you got to work in cooperation with the Lord to do that, if you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you. And when you get caught in your corruption, it's far more embarrassing than it was to just eliminate it in the first place. I just encourage everybody to realize that there will be a season of judgment coming to America. God's done a great job of holding it back. He's a gentle, kind God. He wants to give us time to set things straight. God's a kind God. He is. I get angry at God about my dating life, but hey, when it comes to ruling America, he's a kind God. I don't know why I was single my whole life, and I don't know why my plight has caused me the grief that it's caused me, but God is a kind God when it comes to America and the rest of the world, and he sees the little spirits of evil rise up in men, and he knows what causes it. He knows what he's doing. He's concentrating things to eliminate them, to reveal them and eliminate them and correct them. And again, it just comes back to allowing yourself be corrected on your own private time versus publicly. That's important. Yeah. Have a good one.